everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
And I am Spencer Williams.
Spencer's from GameNerdz, and he is bringing us our monthly update on the best, or not the best, I guess. Well, maybe the best, we'll see.
Could be.
The top-selling expansions and board games at GameNerdz, which is a good data point for us to check out each month. And today we're taking a look at the month of March. We'll do April soon enough. So
yeah, we're almost there. So, and that's a good point. A lot of times we record these videos, and like by the time they come out, our stock levels may have changed. So don't get too set on something that I might say. It may not be in stock, but who knows? That just means it's a popular game. But you want to go ahead and get started with the expansions?
Yep. So we take a look at the top 5 expansions. Here we go.
All right, number 5, we have some new ones on the list, which have bumped one of the ones from last month to the number 5 spot. It dropped 2 places from the number 3 in February, and that is Wingspan Asia. Still up there, still a great seller, but some new things have bumped it down.
And still arguments over whether it's an expansion or a base game.
True.
But I would wager the vast majority of people buying it are buying it as an expansion.
And it is categorized as an expansion, or at least in many instances, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Alrighty, not a surprise that I don't think being knocked down a couple spots is that big of a deal anyway.
Yeah. No, especially because when you consider, like I said, the new ones, like number 4, brand new to the list, is a new release, and that is Furnace Interbellum.
I still haven't got this one played yet. The rest of the guys here in the studio played it, and they said they will almost always play with it. It's a small expansion, easy to integrate, so not a surprise.
Ooh, that's good to know. I love Furnace, and I was wondering about how much more it would add or overcomplicate things, but with that recommendation, I may go for it then, because what a great game. Okay, number 3 was also on the list in February. It was our number 1 in February. It was at a pre-order at that point, but it has since released, and that was Beyond the Sun, Leaders of the New Dawn expansion. And
now, I wonder about this expansion. It's a much smaller expansion than I thought. The box size is not particularly small, but there's a very small amount of content in it. It adds just a couple factions, a few technologies. In fact, I was fairly underwhelmed by at least the initial, but it might be great, as time goes by. But so far, I'm a little meh on it just by looking at how much stuff it's added.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe it's just the attractiveness of just more for the game itself.
Sure, and Beyond the Sun's a great game.
Yep.
I was hoping for a whole lot more, and this adds some more. It adds a whole solo mode, so maybe people care about that. We'll see.
All right. Well, number 2 has not moved at all. It was number 2 last month, number 2 this month for March, and that is Meadow Downstream.
That's interesting. Meadow's really doing well. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it's a game that people really enjoy.
Yeah, and as a reminder, all the games that we do list for the previous month, we exclude anything that was a deal of the day. So there's not any things skewing the data. So no deal of the day, just popular games.
All right.
And Tom, I'm going to see if you can guess this number 1. It is a little bit of a clue. It was a pre-order that was a brand new listing. Very popular game that already has a super popular expansion that has made appearance on many of these lists already.
Well, I don't know. I'm never quite sure if when stuff comes out, but we just announced Dice Tower Award nominations, and the expansion category had 2 from the same game, and those were both the Dune ones. So I'm going to guess it's the second expansion for Dune.
Close. It is Lost Ruins of Arnak, the Missing Expedition.
Always tying these 2 games together.
Yeah, the Missing Expedition expansion, the one that they just announced last month, and we added pre-orders for that immediately. Boom.
Wow, and that's not even out for a bit, is it? I don't think it's coming out that soon.
I believe it's in the fall, I think.
Wow. All right. Well, people love that. All right, cool.
Yeah. Great game.
So no Dune on the list at all.
No Dune. So, people who are on the Lost Ruins camp have a little bit of something to rub into their friend's face. All right, let's move on to the top 10 games, best-selling games of last month. Now, we're going to go to, and I did some research to answer a question we had a month or so ago. Number 10 that was absent in February, but in January it was number 4, and that was cockroach poker. I shared my disdain for the insect, but I was like, why? What is so popular? And so I did a Google News search result, or a Google News search for cockroach poker, and there were two articles from heavy traffic sites. One was from thegamer.com, and another one that went out last month, which could possibly explain the renewed interest, was from from wargamer.com, both of which have several million users or visitors, per month. So that could very well explain. And both the articles were like, great games, great small card games, or whatever. Here's a top 10 list of these things, and so that could very well explain the renewed interest in that really old game.
I'm gonna agree. I think that makes sense.
Otherwise, I have no idea. Okay, so this list has a ton of new stuff to it, and so that's cool. But we'll just get to it. Number 9 was Unmatched Marvel Hell's Kitchen. So not a new release, but I have a theory, because this is not the only Unmatched set on the list.
Sure. And so when people get some, they're going to get more than one, I would imagine.
There's that, but also last month they launched their Tales to Amaze campaign on Kickstarter for their
that's true.
New game. So that may have generated some interest. And then they also have the digital implementation of the app, of being able to play on your phone. And so
you're right.
So I'm really starting to think about what causes these little spikes. So
Unmatched is doing really well. It's a good property for Restoration to have right now.
Absolutely. All right, number 8, another pre-order, not out yet, is Forbidden Jungle, the newest from Matt Leacock, Game Right. Yeah.
So Forbidden Skies, which was clearly not as good as the other ones and definitely got a lot of negative buzz, has not ruined the series. You loved it?
It was so much fun. It was so different, and people were like, it was too hard. I'm like, it's fine.
It didn't work that well, I thought.
Really?
The connecting the stuff.
Having the cool electric circuit and the real working rocket that launches off.
There's no question, though, that it sold way less than the other two.
That's true.
The other two were phenomenally did well.
Yeah, you might also attribute to the fact that for the first time a Forbidden game was in a cardboard box and not a tin.
That is not what it was. Tins are garbage. Also, you can't tell me you guys like shipping them anyway, so whatever. Tins are a pain.
Well, they went right back to what they know, so this one is definitely in a tin too, so we'll find out, but really excited about that one. Okay, another interesting entry for this list, number 7, was Deception: Murder in Hong Kong. And this game was from 2014, or the original publishing of it. And I was like, what? There's not really anything I could discover. We had a restock back last year, but nothing new that really pushed this to the top. So I don't know.
It's constantly brought up on top 10 lists and things. Maybe that's what's doing it. I don't know.
Yep, interesting stuff.
Good game, though.
It is fantastic. Number 6, we have Unmatched: Robin Hood versus Bigfoot. So another new to the list.
Yeah, but I know why this one's on the list.
I bet you do. What's that?
That's because Restoration announced that these older ones were going in the vault, which means they will stop reprinting them, and that doesn't say they won't ever print them again, but for now they're going to stop printing them. So I know people were like, I better buy it while it's available.
Yeah.
100%. That's why this one's on.
Yeah, well, especially that one, because it had been out of stock because it's older than some other. Because the other one that they announced was Cobble and Fog.
Right.
So that one was pretty high up on the list. It didn't make the top 10, but maybe 15 or 20 it would have been in there for sure. So that has a major impact on that as well. And then the final Unmatched on the list, or is it? I don't know. I'm giving away the surprise. Is for number 5 is Unmatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Really? Now that one wasn't announced in the vault thing, I don't think.
It was not. I checked, and it was just the only two that they announced in that announcement was Robin Hood versus Bigfoot and Cobble and Fog.
But I would not be surprised if people buy Unmatched and then in their cart they're like, oh, there's more Unmatched? Click, 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 click.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Okay, So let's move on to number 4. This got dethroned. Well, for a couple months it was number 1, and last month it was number 3, and marched down to number 4, starting to get outshined by some competitors, and that is Ark Nova. Ark Nova is
the
down
mighty
to
have fallen.
4. That's right. Still very popular, but it's slowly making its way down as new things come out.
Sure.
Or restocks, yeah. Which, let's go right to that. Number 3, we got a great restock of Flamecraft Standard Edition. So as soon as that was available, people bought them up. Very popular.
Flamecraft is turning out to be one of the most popular games from 2022. It's hitting a nice sweet spot between lighter gamers and heavier gamers, and also just the cute factor is on overload, for sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, and then number 2, brand new game
Wait.
to the list.
Well, I'm going to try to guess, because I think,
okay.
I'm trying to remember, so this is for March. I'm going to guess, if it's not number 2, it might be number 1. I'm going to guess Earth.
Not number 2.
All right.
Number 2 was Star Wars: The Deck Building Game.
Oh, wow! I can't believe I missed
hot.
this one. Of course, yeah. This is like just printing money at this point, and it's a pretty good game.
It really
is. It got pretty strong reviews across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great entry-level deck building game with a super popular IP. Of course, it's going to do well, and yeah, really good. Okay, but Tom, I'll go ahead and give it to you. Number 1 was Earth, and as of March, it was still a pre-order. But it still made number 1. Again, number 1 in February as well as a pre-order, and then finally released this month. Went out to many, many happy customers.
This is going to be one I would be surprised if it doesn't stick around the top 10 for a while. The over the course this year. This is definitely pushing down Ark Nova a bit, just because Earth is so easy to play. It's going to be in the top 100 at Board Game Geek by the end of the year, probably. It's very, very hot right now. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's also getting stellar reviews across the board.
Yeah, I have yet to play it, but it's on my list for sure.
Alrighty, folks. Well, those are the top 10 games and top 5 expansions from GameNerdz, and that is March. Join us in a few weeks. We'll talk about April. Thank you, Spencer, for coming on board and telling us this stuff. Where can people go to find all these games?
Hey, you can just go to GameNerdz.com, and also just check us out on all the social media channels. We've got fun stuff going on, sometimes giveaways. So any of the channels or the social network handles are at GameNerdzCom. So find us wherever you are.
Alrighty. See y'all next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Spencer Williams.
Earth is number 1.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da.